Welcome back to another episode here on the First Call Ready podcast. Today's episode is a minisode, and on our minisodes, we talk about critical and major incidents, and we talk about it from the dispatcher's point of view.
Due to the real-life nature of these incidents, we may be listening to some 911 calls or some radio traffic. That can sometimes be hard to listen to.
And because of that, we wanted to give this little disclaimer to remind you to be mindful of yourself as you tune into this episode.
Thanks for joining us again for another minisode.
Heyo.
So, as you know, what we do for these is we each are surprising one another with a critical incident or a larger scale incident. Mm-hmm. And just kind of, again, not critiquing, but getting some feedback, bringing an education piece out to the community, to the public, to the dispatchers. Hey, maybe it'll make you think of like, if that comes to us, what can we do? How can we get prepared? Yeah. So to start off, I'm going to give a little debrief of the incident, and I'm bringing something out of Austin, Texas, and it's from 2024. Fairly relevant, but I wanted to go a little bit on the radio side. So this one, we'll hear a little clip of some radio traffic coming up here, but let me give you a little background here, Ashley.
Let's see.
All right. So this is occurring. I'm going to breeze through this. It's a rather long debrief, but this is occurring at 2 p.m. In Austin, Texas. Basically, before I get to that's the heat of the incident at 2 p.m. Officer is in an unmarked vehicle doing surveillance, and he starts following a car that turns out to be stolen. Mm-hmm. So we end up at a gas station where he pulls in, the suspect pulls in to the gas station. He exits the vehicle and goes inside to the convenience store. So this is when they were coordinating. Let me get to the meat of it. They were coordinating a response, knowing that he went inside, and turns out he had a gun inside. He saw an officer approaching. At one point, I'm speeding up the timeline a little bit here, but at one point, basically, one of the clerks comes running out and says, he has a gun, but I also left my coworker in there. Not left, but now we have a potential
both didn't get out.
Yes. So I'll read you a little bit of the facts here, but I kind of wanted to paint the picture, speed it up a little there. It's a Tuesday. So basically he spotted the stolen vehicle at 12:30. The 2 o'clock is when it really comes to fruition. Vehicle pulls into the gas station. It parks. The suspect was the only occupant of the car and goes into the gas station.
Okay.
Store. They had several officers arrive on scene, coordinating, obviously, and they attempt to make contact with him in the parking lot. He kind of turned away from the officers, entered the store. They find out that he had a gun in his hand. They see it. We know that there's that element as well. He didn't comply and kind of like backed in and out of the store. They ended up initiating a full response, barricaded subject, get SWAT started, the whole 9 yards. They'll also ask for additional resources. When officers spoke to an employee that did flee the store, they confirmed the other employee was trapped inside the store in a locked office. They see the subject pacing back and forth with the gun in hand inside the store. And then they observe him pouring lighter fluid all over the counter and heard him making suicidal threats. Again, we're at a gas station here. They had hostage negotiators were called out as well at approximately 2 o'clock in an attempt to more effectively communicate with him. They breached the front of the store. At several points during the incident, the suspect fired his gun at officers, and they observed him to continue to pour lighter fluid inside the store while holding a lighter in his hand. Officers attempted alternative routes of communication and evacuation for the employee that was trapped inside, making numerous calls. No successful contact was made with the employee inside. So they end up backing away at one point to kind of de-escalate a little bit. So 4:15, they decided another approach. Again, we're not going to really talk about tactics or anything there, to gain compliance. And at approximately 4:45-ish, the subject still had the gun in the hand, and he started making basically Molotov cocktails. So
Holy
now
shit.
the threat has increased once again.
He's in it for the long haul.
He is definitely in it for the long haul. And so then at 4:50, basically, they saw the subject, and one of the officers engaged him and, definitely discharged his firearm, struck the suspect. They were able to rescue the uninjured employee at that time. Once they rendered medical aid and secured the subject, then it comes to an end. So
Yes.
that's kind of like the basic brief of all of it.
Okay.
So I'm going to play you some of the traffic here.
Okay.
And get your feedback.
K96, just for 43, the other employee that came out of the store believes that this guy shot off a round and then told him to get out of the car, or out of the store. We're unable to make contact with the store manager that's inside. He's continuing to call.
5. Can you go ahead and start a hostage negotiator?
10-4, Henry 201 is already en route for you.
Yes, I'll left in the DR portally. I'm going to stop for 1 second. I want to get my rifle out before we get there. That way I'm not stuck at the door. 10-4, I'll get in front of you real quick. LT61.
LT61, go ahead.
And pull the SWAT trigger. Have them route.
10-4, you go to the last four of your city cell or any cell for them to contact?
Yeah, 10-4. They should have it. It's going to be my personal cell.
10-4,
T61, just to clarify, go ahead and pull the trigger and have them route. They can call me too.
I'm clear. I just sent the message.
Rank 205, just in case nobody heard, he did fire a round off inside the store.
Clear, subject fired around inside the store. K96 to that unit, leave your car blocking and bring up whatever you have to help out. And K96, just to confirm, the back door is pinned with a police vehicle at this time.
10-4, we just got it pinned off.
10-4, next vehicle going on scene, I'm going to need you to block off the parking lot on the south side of this parking lot.
205, we're going to need some vehicles to block traffic on Salt Springs as well as Saxton as well.
Clear, Salt Springs and Saxton.
LT61, anyone on scene, if we can get a staging area for SWAT called out real quick, that would be helpful.
10-4, does anybody have an idea for the command post location?
Right, so wait, can we get a less lethal to the front of the store?
10-4, anybody en route have a less lethal? 306, I'm clear. K96, did you get a location for the CP? Negative, not yet. The best I can do right now, they could either set up off of that Ken Carl Drive and Running Water, or there's another gas station on the south side of Saxton, but if LT wants to look at that, he can probably figure it out better.
LT61, I'm clear. I'm en route. I'll scope it out when I get there. Thank you. LT61, use that other suggestion from K96 for right now. I can change it when I get there. LT61, when we get opportunity, we'd like to switch to crit 1.
10-4.
Right, so a suspect was last seen in the Charlie Delta corner of the store.
Clear, last seen Charlie Delta corner.
Yeah, 408. It looks like there's just one door back here. I don't know about roof access. I don't see any ladders back here to get up there, but.
Clear, one door in the back of the store.
205. We have him viewed. He's in the far north west corner of the building. He popped out and then we lost visual. We're not sure where he went.
Clear.
LT62, just let us know when it's clear for everyone to switch to crit 1.
10-4, we're just trying to find a dispatcher to take over Frank and then we'll move. I'll let you know. 219's advising that we cannot switch to crit 1 yet. K96, I'm on 21 with the store owner trying to get access to any cameras that he's got that he can pull up.
280, I'm going 23 with the shield. Where do you need it?
Clear. K96, we have one on the front of the store. Corporal, why don't you head to the back just in case?
10-4. Bring 204.
We're currently positioned facing southeast. We're at the Alpha Bravo corner, so our direction of fire is southeast right now. Clear, direction of fire southeast.
David 290, Frank 290. You got two long rifles over here by the sign. Off to your, I guess that's your right with optics.
Got you. Everybody working at Salt Springs call. Crit 1 is open. Switch to Crit 1 again. Everyone working.
One of the things we talk about all the time at First Call Ready is that our profession deserves better. Better training, better support, better tools, better leadership.
That is exactly why we're excited to partner with This Gen 911. They're helping emergency communication centers hire better, train faster, and support their people.
Through realistic call simulations, immediate coaching, and tools designed for everyone, from trainees to supervisors and directors, They're helping build stronger teams behind the headset.
Because when dispatchers have the opportunity to practice, learn, make mistakes, and grow in a safe environment, they show up more confident when the real call comes in.
They're investing in the future of emergency communications and helping create the kind of profession we all want to be a part of.
Now let's get back to the show.
All right, so we listened to a little bit of that radio traffic. It is kind of lengthy. I did misquote. It is 2021, not a 2024 case. But with that, kind of highlighting what we listened to, Ashley, give me your first thoughts on this.
My first thoughts are badass dispatcher, freaking awesome job. I think one thing that we don't talk about enough is kind of that scene, maintaining that scene. Like, it's the dispatcher's job to know everyone else's job. So less lethal at the front, less lethal at the back. I need a command post still. I need this, I need that. So you hear the officers asking for things. You hear the dispatcher repeating the thing that needs to be handled, and then someone answering up to handle that request, right? Well, the dispatcher kind of has that aerial, quote unquote, view of the scene. So when someone comes up later and goes, where's the command post? We're not going to wait for an officer who's in the mix to answer that. We go, command post is at this intersection. Or, hey, less lethal, I'm assuming their 23 is on scene. Where do you need me? If they had already said, I need one in the back, one in the front, dispatch can pipe up and go, I have this K9 unit on the front, you take the back. And then someone can voice up and fix it if they want somewhere else. But that's kind of dispatcher's job in a critical incident, is to manage all of these little intricacies that's going on so the units on scene can focus on the threat. And I think they rocked it.
And she is definitely in her jam. This is for sure. It's kind of like a 2-3 part traffic that we can link. But they're asking for, I mean, what starts out as a basic, hey, I'm stolen vehicle. You know, it escalated quickly, right?
Like, stolen vehicles sound scary, but most stolen vehicles, like, pretty routine. Like, you got me, cop.
They pull over and they're like, depending what state you're in, you're not going to charge me that much.
We're not, most, it is, a high risk stop, but like most of the time, hey, I know I'm in a stolen vehicle. I'm gonna take the L and get out. Like it's I don't know what the stats are, but
it's just not as scary as it sounds per se. I mean, doesn't mean we don't go through the steps, but in this one, they're asking for, like, it escalates quickly, right? We need SWAT, we need hostage negotiators, we need, like the elements, like we need medical staging. Where's the command post? We need fire. This is a gas station.
But this is a gas station, and we're popping off rounds. Yeah, no, that's actually really funny, because when we were listening to this, because I just the last year started working fire dispatch as well, and I only used to work police. So that's kind of the first thing I thought was like, wow, this is going to be turned into a use of force incident in case we have to use force. We're staging medical, we're staging the fire department. I didn't even think about the gas line that's coming through that thing, as they're throwing igniter fluid everywhere.
And we have a hostage that, I mean, we're assuming is still locked in the back, right? We don't know if he's found that hostage or, and I say he because it was a male suspect, but I also think, like, too, is like the, calling the owner and like getting, seeing if there's video footage inside, and how that's going to add another element of something that has to be accomplished and done, and calling the gas company, can we shut off lines? Can we it's just, there's so many things, and the dispatcher is just on it. And then she's not only answering the officers in the situation, we have to remember recording all of this in the call, right? And she does a good job of like, hey, where's the CP going to be? And
I love that double ask.
Yes. And then I like the proactive, like I often say all the time, like, I love me a proactive dispatcher and not a reactive one. Like, we empower you to make decisions. Like, just ask the question. Who cares? Sometimes you need to like prompt them, because they are in they're
in the shit.
Yeah, the officers in the shit, and there's so much, and they always say when they're in the shit like that and things are going down, the first thing that goes is your hearing. And so this is why us as dispatchers are often reporting things, because they are in there like, I got to do this, I got to do that. They kind of tone it out for a minute, know?
And so they have a gun pointed at them. Like, hello,
You just have to, ask, yeah, it's just she's on it, definitely on this situation. And I will say, when you go back and listen to all the radio traffic, it is sped up because this is a multi-hour incident, right? That they're compacting the audio into, let's get to the point.
Yeah.
Thank you, Austin P. So with that said, like, what would you say, like, what do you like? Anything else that you would really want to point out as far as like what's going on in the room in that incident for those dispatchers?
That this dispatcher is not working this incident alone. You hear they're trying to get, because remember, all other emergencies in the city have not stopped. There are still other incidents happening. There's still other medical calls coming in. The city does not stop because of this one guy decided to barricade himself in the gas station, right? So you hear them going, we're trying to get over to this separate channel to work this incident. We're trying to take this incident and put it over here so this main channel can be dedicated to our ongoing regular routine calls for service that are happening. And you hear, I think this is a really, really good point, them say, we can't yet. We are trying to get another dispatcher to work the channel. We have limited people in our centers, limited radio channels, limited bodies. That's something we have to remind our patrol guys quite often, right? When they go out and they try towing 1,000 freaking cars in a day for some reason, and
you are not the only one.
We only have so many bodies, like, right? So if you are tying up all our one channel with all of these requests, like, when we can, we want to dedicate someone to be focused on this main incident, but that takes moving around the room. That takes maybe even calling, this is the multi-hour incident, calling someone in. Maybe a tactical dispatcher came in to work that incident or work the regular channel so this person can continue on their incident, whatever it is. But we are one person, one body, and we can't, we have to bring in the troops or delegate to the room. So I think that's the biggest thing, is realizing that dispatcher is working the channel. So if she puts in there, I need medical to stage, another dispatcher is calling. Hopefully.
Yeah. If she's doing both,
yeah,
I mean, that happens. It happens, but
I've worked a small agency where I'm on the radio line and still making these calls. But in the perfect world, in a medium to large center, someone else is tag teaming, helping you make those calls, right?
Absolutely.
So it is a team group effort when the poo hits the fan like this. In a barricaded subject with a possible hostage situation, poo isn't the fan.
Crazy. Yeah. I would also say to pull an education piece out of this, and not from the critical incident standpoint, because you can't, critical instances, we're not planning for those, right? Like, we don't know, like, I don't show up to work on Monday and they're like, hey, on Wednesday, we're going to have the big one. Maybe. That doesn't actually happen. But to your point of like staffing and the moving pieces, when you do have incidents like a planned event or something, I would say, talk to dispatch, encourage, get them involved in your planning and operations planning, your ops plan, however your agency sets that up. And if you hear about it happening through the grapevine, but you haven't heard about the staffing being thing, that's when you like, hey, supervisor, hey, manager, do you think, is it possible? And we, like, again, we're navigating staffing shortages, all of the things. But if you know about these things, hey, the team's going to be way more, like you said, towing a bunch of cars. Like, if you have an event, you're going to tow a bunch of cars, and then you have the event, it might be worth to post that overtime shift, right? Like, we can take that to a different channel, because I also don't want to take away from the patrol officers, the guys and gals that are out there they're dealing with the stuff that keeps coming in during the incident. So there's just a little piece to that too. Back to this dispatcher again. I mean, again, not here to critique, but she was on it. I will say, definitely rocking it. I am curious to how many people. So this is more or less from noon to 5, right? This is happening. So this is like a bulk of someone's shift, right? Yeah. One incident takes it up, right? Anything that you would want to point out that other considerations for a long-term incident like that?
In regards to the center?
Let's keep it to the center or the general, right? Because, I mean, obviously you're going to have calls stacked up, right? Where so people calling in, we're going to tell you, like, our ETA is going to be a little extended, right?
I mean, I think my piece to like the everyday citizen who's like maybe like in the area or wanted to know the tea, we're busy dealing with the tea. We can't tell you about the tea while we're just busy dealing with the tea. So if
Fair.
you're not involved in the incident and it doesn't involve you in any way, shape, or form, please refrain from calling into the center asking, why are all these cops at the Arco when I'm trying to get my hot Cheetos, you know? Do your best to
Great
refrain
point.
from calling in unless you have something of value to add to the situation. Just call for the tea, baby. You got to get that from the news because we're busy.
You are taking away from the resources in the room that
Yes.
are working on this, coordinating. Yeah. So I think to the average person, yes. And honestly,
Yeah.
even if there's tea to give, you ain't going to
You
get
ain't
much.
getting it,
Like,
right?
you know,
Yeah.
it's an active incident. We're not going to be able to tell you much.
Yeah.
Basically, if there's something to be told,
Yeah.
it will come out.
It'll be told by our PIO.
Yes.
Talk to them.
Contact them.
I think the other, maybe from a supervisor and a management point of view, and speaking to, dispatchers, we get really like possessive of our incident, especially critical incidents. Like I'm starting it, I'm finishing it, and usually if I'm in to watch, so if I'm at the end of my shift and my incident's still rolling, I'm holding on. I'm not passing this off. I'm keeping it until we're done with it. I mean, obviously, if this is a 400-hour incident, and like nothing like that, but for the most part, dispatchers like to start with their incident and finish with their incident. They don't want to pass it off to someone else to take, and I think that's pretty universal.
Well, it's the same with officers on the street, right? They're not really
Yeah.
tapping out like,
Yeah.
hey, I gotta go. It's my
Yeah.
time to get off. So
Can someone come over here on my perimeter spot? So I think with that, reminding ourselves that after a major incident, even when everyone ends up fine, everyone goes home, still a lot of adrenaline dumping. That's still a lot of stuff built up.
Very fair.
And to give folks time off the floor, to take some time off the floor, to, if you can't send them home early, you know, relieve them.
At least.
You know, it doesn't have to always equal like an OIS or, something where someone didn't make it to get some relief off the radio after working a huge major incident. So just kind of tapping into that like wellness piece of it. When you can break your people, and don't be like, I'm sending you home, you don't get paid for the rest of the day either. Don't do that nonsense.
Yeah.
But like break them.
Where can you help them out? Yeah.
Get them off the floor for a couple hours if you can't really give them the rest of the shift off. Like whatever that looks like. And dispatcher, you just took a lot of shit in. You just, they're popping off rounds at your people. Like you're on edge for that whole time until that person is detained and everyone is safe. So take a moment.
Prepare yourself for that, because that's emotionally draining. A 5-hour-ish incident, and you endure and stay. I mean, you're gonna feel it later.
Yeah,
you're gonna feel it later.
Even when everyone goes home safe versus when they don't. Like it feels the same. Like it's heavy. So just that self-check-in piece, like understand that it's okay to get up from the radio after that. You're not less of a dispatcher for needing a moment. You should take it. Take those moments.
And hopefully your partners are checking in on you too, because that does make you feel good. I mean, it may be a lot at once, but it's nice to know when your partners are checking in on you and, reaching out as well.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, that's kind of what I just wanted to bring that to the table, bring some awareness to the other side of things.
Yeah.
So I would just say everybody, take care, you have to take care of yourself first, because, no one's going to do that better than you.
Put your own mask on first before helping others.
Yes. Yes. But thanks for joining us for another quick little debrief on this minisode. And we are glad to have you.
Stay raspy.
Stay ready.